Hey everybody, it is Allie Cox, and welcome back to the Farm to Fame podcast. It is a pleasure to be here. As a reminder, I'm the founder and CEO of Noble West, a marketing agency absolutely focused and specializing in agriculture and food ingredient marketing. Today's a super special day because I am welcoming my business partners, Sarah Tjoa and Kate Holgate. Sarah is the managing director and partner here at Noble West and is leading a lot of really key initiatives for us across strategy and client services, operations, and has lots of thoughts about marketing and food brands, which we'll get into. And the lovely Kate Holgate, executive creative director and partner here at Noble West. And I should also mention they are co-founders of Second Born, our creative incubator, and that we adore. And it's our second born baby, so we just love it. But per usual, want to make sure that we stay on task here with Farm to Fame. And as a reminder, we're really focused on answering one major question and having a conversation about marketing and branding and marketing and food. So, I have asked Sarah and Kate to not talk about all of our client children, but really to kind of just talk about, generally what we see and really why our clients hire us. But I'm just going to open it up. I think if one of you want to go first, just kind of would love to share a little bit about let's talk about when have we seen our clients succeed and how, when, where, and why, especially as they are grower packer shippers or our farming clients that have decided, you know what, we're going to go for it and create a consumer facing brand. I think we all know that is daunting, super complicated, expensive, and whatnot. But I would just kind of love to hear kind of thoughts, and we'll converse like we normally do, as if were in one of our internal meetings, but about kind of why is this important and why do we think it matters, and why do we love what we get to do? So.
Yeah, I mean, Allie, when you were posing this question to us, it brought me back to a story a long time ago when I first joined Noble West, which feels like a lifetime ago, like the best lifetime, but a lifetime ago, where I asked you, what are our clients like? I mean, my background is, but folks here might not, is not from agriculture. I was born in Los Angeles. Can't hold that against me, but I'm not a fifth generation farmer like our CEO. And I asked Allie, what are our clients like? What are their challenges? What keeps them up at night? What are the different attributes? And part of part of the second half of the Noble West name is this idea about West, and it's because Allie told me they're cowboys, they're cowgirls. They know that there's something better out there, but they're not sure how to get there. So when it comes to the clients that have come to us and said, I have a dream, usually that dream isn't a brand. That dream is an opportunity that is wholly unknown. It is something that they just in their bones feel. And so we think about who they are. There's just so much in them that we have to extract. And I think a lot of what we think about in terms of who they are and how our process adapts to a lot of that is born out of this initiative of a bias for action. They know that there's going to be something on that westward horizon that is going to be better than anything that they could have imagined for their business. Mm-hmm. And we get to sell them business transformation in the form of a brand. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's a lot of, if I were to break it down to a key characteristic of what they do, they act, they trust, and they act.
Well, not hailing from a fifth generation farming family either, but being in a state.
Hold that against everybody. Exactly.
But being in a state, and I'm not from Los Angeles, but I'm in a very important state in terms of the future of food. And so I think it's been really interesting joining an agency that has such a niche in terms of not just building brands for food products and food technology and the entire ecosystem, but really focusing on being more on the consultation side of we've made this huge investment in your product or your potential product or your equipment or the hero ingredient that you are growing. How can you get a better ROI on your own investment? And I think it's been interesting seeing how a brand can really bring more value to our clients.
Well, you bring up a good point, Kate, because it really is one of the few problems that only marketing solves. That is so much of what we do. It is purely, sometimes you talk about, well, really is marketing the solution? Is operations the solution? Are there whole other, organizational solutions? All things that we all side hustle in with our clients, right? But primarily, so many of the challenges that we are looking to solve with our clients are marketing challenges that we get to solve. And that I would not say that that's the need of every category that I've ever worked in. I don't know that the world needs more shoes.
Do you think that they know that there's a marketing problem?
No, but I think that that's what makes us special, not to toot our own horn or anything. But
Yeah.
I mean, most of our conversations start off with, I have an idea for a thing, but I'm really not sure what that path looks like. And I think because most of our clients are producers or farmers, or they live on the operational or the supply chain side of things, they think because they didn't grow up in CPG or branding or some of these larger organizations that they have no business being a brand. But they don't know. I mean, I'd argue this, knowing what we know about building CPG brands and all the conversations we have there are so many things that they have to decide too. And honestly, the only wrong decision in a lot of those like paths to launch, paths to retail is indecision. Because while there are normalized paths and there are certainly wrong things to do, the number one thing is not doing anything or stopping or pausing or being like, I'm scared, or like, I don't know. You have to, like, so many of the biggest brands that are IPOing or launching or getting mass distribution are just like, they're riding a wave and they're just going to keep working because they know at some point it's going to pan out. But I think we all know here as like leaders in agency or even leaders working through this, that consistency and dedication usually outdoes a lot of just like strategy. You have to just stay consistent.
So Kate, obviously you're the newest, you're the new out of the group here. We've got OG, mini OG, and then we have like becoming an OG. What would you say, like, our client, now that you have worked on several really great value add brands for our farming clients, and you've like kind of been able to lean on like your 2 decades of experience, sorry to age you.
Plus decades.
But what would you say is kind of like a major driver or difference in like how like food brands and especially like ingredient food brands approach it versus different kinds of just CPG?
Well, I think, first of all, one thing that we at Noble West do a really good job of is we really think about our target audience and who we're trying to reach at the end of the day. The customer walking into the grocery store, there's a lot more than just what's on the shelf. There's a lot of other touch points that you have to think through. And one example I can think of more recently is when we developed redeveloped, I would say, the brands for Ocean Mist Farms. So we realized that not only were they not getting credit for the great product they were putting out there, but also they're being lost in what we're calling a sea of sameness. Everything looked the same, everything sounded the same. And when you're trying to sell a premium product, we thought, well, what's the real motivator behind buying a prepped vegetable? And we found our audience where, for once in my career, I was actually marketing to myself, which is a woman who is working full-time, raising a family, cares about the food they're putting into their bodies. And more than anything in the world that is valuable to me is time. And so we had this insight around giving people more time in their day. And that's what's so special about the brands that Ocean Mist Farms were putting out there. And so we came up with a platform called No Shame and Shortcut. And then we really thought about it through not just the packaging design, not just the one-offs, but really the entire buying journey. And that to me was really interesting to see how it did improve sales. And another thing that was really interesting is seeing how retailers were very interested in how the company was investing in its own brands. So
yeah. And like, do we think that that's like, and I think that Sarah, where you're going is like, what I know that I care a lot about is like a lot of the inbound inquiries we receive as an agency are like, I bought a thing and now I have to make money off of it. Like I bought a flour mill. I have got $10 million in equipment sitting in the back of the lot. Let's make money on it. And I feel like there's so many, like, that's part of why I love what we do is like, we're like literally like helping to accomplish, like, they already had a dream. They just don't know how to actualize it. Right. And I think that's where like bringing along like the retail partner and all of those stakeholders, Kate, you're talking about like the multiple stakeholders, just multiple stakeholders. When you're working with an ag first brand, there's contract growers, there's retailers, there's manufacturing partners, there's ingredient partners. I mean, there is a whole, not to mention the farm laborers who we care a lot about. Like, there's all of that impact. But like, do we think that there are different approaches that we have to take with these kind of clients than we would with like, you know, a tidy CPG brand that just gives us a brief? I don't know, Sarah, do you have thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, I think that there's definitely, I mean, look, you know me, novelty is my number one thing. I'll tackle a problem differently every single time if you let me. I think some of this is like, you know, the thing about a tight CPG brand is a CPG brand is typically coming to you with a very defined lane of what you're looking at. Now, when you're building the empire, you don't know where the latitudes are. You don't know any of that. And I joke a lot whenever I tell someone that I work in food. They're like, oh, like products, like the grocery store. And I'm like, no, guys, if I told you I worked in sports, do you assume I play on the field all the time? No, there's so much more infrastructure that has to live around the sports team that is even beyond that and so many different layers out. And what I think allows us to treat, hey, I bought equipment like a CPG brand giving us a brief, so we understand how all of that works. We can go and be like, okay, I need to go in and probe. I need to go find the sustainability person, or I need to go find the procurement person because they're usually adjacent to that. The ops person is going to be able to give me this, and the long-term retail guy is going to be, or gal, is going to be able to give me that. And so there's a lot that fluency affords us in terms of being able to activate on all of that honestly makes a difference, because 9 times out of 10, when it comes to, you know, someone coming to us and saying, hey, I need to build this, they're not coming to you ahead of time with all the time in the world to be able to build it. They're coming to you when they need to make money. And so we can't afford to be like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't get how this operates. And so I think fluency in the value chain that is honestly more than, you know, any of us going to the grocery store or realistically getting their groceries delivered. It's so much more complex than that. And our fluency across the value chain affords us these incredible opportunities to treat, you know, a really incredible opportunity like a brief.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'd also point out that I think a lot of our clients, they don't have these like giant, robust marketing teams often. Sometimes we're working directly with, you know, the CEO. And so for me, I also really enjoy the process of not only just educating along the way, but it's so fulfilling to see when it works, because our team, our team is incredibly talented. They could work at I hands down think not one single person on our team could not go to any big fancy agency in the world and work there, but they have chosen to be in food because they care about it and they care about our mission. And we are oftentimes the team that their only team they have to work with, or a smaller team. And so I think also just understanding oftentimes there's not a long ramp up. We're not having to learn the category. We understand the pressure and the pain points that our clients are under.
Yeah, for sure.
Marketing gets a bad rap. I don't think a lot of folks think about, you know, it's the first to blame or the first to maybe say like, okay, I need you to fix this. Like marketing teams get a bad rap, and for good reason in a lot of ways. But I would say, Kate, to your point about when you work with the COO or the FO or the EO, there's no hiding behind the fluff of a deck. It has to work or it doesn't. And we wouldn't be here on the growth trajectory we were on if we didn't find a way to make the machines and dreams work.
Impact and accomplishment. That's what we're looking for, people. For sure. Do you guys think that there is going to be more or less brands built in farming? I think we have hot takes, and I think the way the wind blows, I think we could probably answer that differently. But what do you guys think? Do we think more brands within our kind of hero food ingredients or less are going to be on the market?
I think that the influx of AI is going to force more brands, because I think that look, you can't have a conversation across any category without mentioning it. It took us 14 minutes to get there, so I'm really proud of us for taking that long. But you know, in the age of AI, there's gonna be more brands because they have more access to tools to be able to stand something up. Now, I didn't say good brands. I just said there will be more of them.
Okay.
Now,
Okay. Kate, what's your take?
I think they're probably going to be more as well, because I think that people are going to discover the value in building a brand. And so when you are in a space where it's potentially commoditized, how do you build value? And so I think that, to Tara's point, yes, people will have more access to tools where they can maybe do it themselves, and yes, there might be more, maybe they're not great, but I think it goes back to the strategy behind building a brand, and also seeing that it can pay off if you build one in the right way.
Well, the pendulum swings both ways. We were in performance for a little bit, and now I think AI is having this pendulum swing the other way to people want handcrafted experiences. There is nothing so more from the earth, salt of the earth, than for nothing.
For sure. Well, you guys, I want to just thank you for being on Farm to Farm to Fame. We appreciate it. Still getting all of my talk track down. Again, this is live recorded. These are on the fly thoughts that come from a lot of like deep rooted love, passion, and interest for what we do. So thank you, ladies, for being here, and thank you for being part of this incredible industry. So
thank you, Allie.
We didn't even get to talk over each other. That's a first.
Okay, thanks so much.
Bye.